Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Toy Story 5 just came back home from the theatre, starring Tom Hanks, John Cusack, Tim Allen, all the gang. So the plot is Woody, Buzz, Jessie and the rest of the gang's job a challenge when they're introduced to electronics, a new threat to playtime. Now, I'm a big Toy Story fan. I have some of my toys there because I didn't have anything on that shelf before this, so I was like, I'm going to fill it with some Toy Story stuff because this is a Toy Story 5 review. My favorite movie of all time as a kid was Toy Story 1, so don't think that I didn't grow up with it. I grew up with it. I was born in 2003. The first two are already out, so I'll play those on loop. I've had that Woody and Jessie that you probably can't see the Woody, but the Jessie you can see. I had her since I was a kid. So I'm a huge fan of these movies. I saw 3 in theatres, I saw 4 in theatres, and 5. So, okay, so I'm a big fan of Toy Story. I was kind of nervous about this movie when they announced it at first because you, have... Obviously the trilogy is a great trilogy. It wraps it up beautifully in 3. I thought 4 was a great epilogue to Woody and it sent him off very well. So I was kind of nervous about it because you're bringing Woody back into the fold after 4 and his great epilogue ending in 4, and also knowing that technology was going to be a part of this movie. I was nervous. When I say this movie opens in a way that I kind of forgot was in the movie, we already knew that the Army of Buzzers was in the movie. So when the Army of Buzzers, this isn't going to be a spoiler review, this is going to be spoiler free. I'll probably do a spoiler review next week, because this seems like a movie that I want to dive deep into, because I just love this franchise so much. But, so, when it started off, I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested in this. And I loved the comedy with the Army of Buzzers. I loved, again, like with each Toy Story movie, you kind of retread, but in a different way. The whole Buzz thinks that he's a real space ranger, so I like how they do it in this movie. I thought that was pretty smart, and stuff like that. But it's one of those bits of the movie where it's like, I really liked it, but it did kind of feel detached from the rest of the movie when you kept jumping to the different scenes that they're in and you had the main storyline going on, which we will get to. So I had a little problem with that, but by the end it works out well and it works great. But so then, obviously, now this movie tackles a very serious problem in today's world because kids play with electronics more than they do with toys. They do it in the most perfect way. It's one of those things where it's like, at first I was like, oh, it doesn't really quite fit this franchise. But the way that they tackle it, I was like, you know what? This was actually dealt with very well for this movie and this franchise as a whole. So I was very relieved that they actually pulled it off. And so, yeah, I was happy that they pulled that side of it off. And I knew that they were going into, they were going to tie some stuff and reference Toy Story 2 a lot throughout this movie. I actually love that because Toy Story 2 was one of my favourite Toy Story movies as a kid. So I loved all that. Seeing the Jessie storyline was great, which we will get to in a minute. We'll get to now, actually. So, I will say, one of my only nitpicks with this movie, even though I loved it, even though I loved this storyline, it did kind of give me a nitpick. This is Jessie's story, which was no problem with me. I'm totally fine with having Jessie's story, but walking into the movie, I was like, okay, I wonder what else we're going to know about Jessie, because from Toy Story 2, we already have that amazing When She Loved Me scene, when you have the whole thing of her explaining to Woody how she had a kid that was very similar to Andy, and then she grew older, and she kind of stopped playing with her, and you see that montage and it's upsetting, right? So we see more of that. We see more of those things play out. And I thought that was interesting. At first I was like, okay, are we just basically going to get expansions on the things that we already know? But when you watch the movie, you actually get why they're doing that. A lot of the things in this movie, I understand why they were doing that. I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. So, basically, and then after that, right, you had the... Like, when you watch the movie, you get why they're doing the flashbacks and they're doing the whole Jesse storyline and things like that, because it does actually tie into the greater plot of the technology and stuff taking over and things like that. But the problem that I had with it is that because we were having a Jesse movie, mainly, which I loved. I love Jesse. This movie kind of made me feel like what people kind of felt for was. People always complain how they don't like how they sidelined Buzz, Jesse, the rest of Andy's toys for Bonnie's toys and Woody to have the main storyline, especially Woody and Forky to have the main storyline. This movie I felt even more. I was like, okay, I love this storyline. I really like this, but you are shoehorning you're not shoehorn, yeah, not shoehorn is the right word, but you're getting away from why I love this franchise. But when you have, because Buzz and Woody kind of have the B storyline, and I love the B storyline, but it kind of took me out at first, because I was like, and I knew going into it was going to be a Jesse story. I just didn't know how much it was going to be Jesse and Bullseye, like not with the other toys, type thing. So I think that was the part that was kind of taking me out, because I was like, because the way that the trailers were, it was like, oh, okay, Jesse's going to have her storyline, but Woody's going to help her and Buzz figure out the technology. We'll talk about more in spoilers, but that's not what happens, which I was kind of shocked. But I did like her story nonetheless. It just kind of took me back for a minute, because I was like, whoa, that's a bit, not crazy, but that was kind of shocking to me. That I was like, that is very, very much why I don't come to this franchise for. And the more I watch it, the more I love it and the more I'll accept it. It was just one of those first things where I'm like, whoa, you're taking screen time away from two of my favourite characters of all time. Just for this person that we met literally in the next movie. But I liked it by the end. I thought it was great. I will say though, I think the emotional impact in this movie really works, and you can tell that the emotional side mainly comes from the Jesse storyline, not the tech versus the toy side. And I think that really shows the impact of not just the montage in Toy Story 2, but also this movie will have, is the Jesse storyline, but the messaging for the adults and even the kids that they should take away is the technology versus the toys, and how you should play with toys more. And tech, even though that's useful, like, I use tech all the time. I use tech to talk to you guys right now. I use tech to read my notes on the films. I use tech to edit. I use tech for lights and stuff. Like, all that's great, but you cannot use it all the time. And that's really a problem. You need to stop using tech and just play with toys. Now, I will say, in terms of the new characters, I love Lilypad. I think she is great. I think you hate her at first because of what she's doing, but then when she has her kind of redeem thing, you're like, oh, okay, she knew that she fucked up. I really like her. So I thought that her character was great. But the other characters, because we already see the Funko Pops, we see like Smarty Pants, voiced by Conan, the talk show host, and things like that. Those characters, my problem with those characters is that I didn't connect with them at first. I was like, what? And they were just too... I know. It felt like the type of humour that Toy Story wasn't originally. And that was if you see the movie and you even put together what he is by the toys, by the Funko Pops and stuff, his humour was not... And I love Conan. Conan's very funny. I love his show. I watch his clips all the time on YouTube. But for some reason, the character's humour in this, especially in the first half, I was like, what? This is not the type of humour in the Toy Story movie. And then the way that they were treating Jesse and stuff, it was very, like, not a thing that I like seeing in Toy Story movies. But I do understand what they were going for, and I loved it by the end. I thought they were great by the end, but at the start I was kind of like, eh. But with Toy Story 4, even though that no one really likes it, I love those new characters that they introduced from start to finish. I love Ducky and Bunny. I love Duke Kaboom. I love Giggle McDimples. I already loved Bo Peep from the first one, but I thought that she was improved in 4. And she had more of a character as opposed to just, I'm in love with Woody, and this is for Woody when you find him, and that type of stuff. So I thought that she had a bit more of a character in 4. And I even liked Gabby Gabby as the villain, even though that she was more of a, like, I want this. Even though that she's doing it more for herself. Lily Pad's more doing, like, I want this for Bonnie, but she's going about the wrong way. So you kind of understand Lily Pad, and which you also get Gabby Gabby, which I really, really liked. But I think that the characters other than Lily Pad, I was like, yeah. I was like, what? And I didn't know that they were going to have scenes of their own. I thought that Lily Pad and those characters were going to be in the same scenes. But yeah, no, that kind of took me off for a little bit. I need to give Toy Story 4 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really like this movie. I need to watch it again. It could jump up or down. It's probably going to jump more up than down. But I don't want to give it recency bias, if that makes sense. So, but this movie was great, and it tells me that Toy Story is one of, and if not, the greatest movie franchises of all time. Within Pixar, within movies, within Disney, within everything. And it never seems to disappoint me. So, I'm very happy to report that Toy Story 5 was a good movie. And, like, yeah, because no Toy Story movie has been a bad movie. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again. I'm excited to give you guys a spoiler review next week. I'll also give you guys a ranking of all 5 of the movies next week as well. And I might also give you guys, maybe, I'm not too sure, but I might give you guys also a tier list of all the Toy Story characters as well. So, guys, please keep your eye out for that. Please hit the like button down below if you haven't already. Hit subscribe. Press the little bell icon to get notified of future videos that I make. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.